Hello my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. So if this is indeed the first time that I've been given the pleasure to welcome you onto my channel, I'm Vanessa Samina and welcome to the fam. So you guys, today's reading is all about what Spirit wants you to know right now. So in order to figure that out, I have prepared 4 groups for you to choose from. So I would like you guys to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. So just go with that gut feeling, go with whatever mineral that you intuitively feel drawn to. The 4 groups are as follows. So we have the Chrysocolla, we have the Apophyllite, we have the Hematite, as well as the Aragonite. But you guys, as usual, the timestamps are down below in the description box, so feel free to click your corresponding timestamp to fast forward to your reading. So yeah, you guys, before I get into the reading, I just wanted to let each and every one of you know how much I love and appreciate you, and just how much I appreciate all of the positivity that is on my channel. So let's keep it going, let's keep motivating each other, let's keep making each other feel good. And that is how I want to get into the readings, you guys. I want you to keep in mind that these readings are not only here for you to get insight, they're also here to keep you positive and motivated and just excited and fired up about life. But you guys, enough of the intro. I'm gonna get straight into the readings, starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Chrysocolla. Hello group number 1, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Chrysocolla. So group number 1, the Chrysocolla is the stone of communication. It is a stone that allows the truth to transcend any illusion, the truth to come out into the surface. And this stone is also devoted to personal expression. So if you feel like that is something that you may be struggling with, or if you feel like you may have been drawn to this stone for more than just its physical appearance, but because those things are things that resonate with you, that you feel like you need to work on or you've been struggling with, that may be why the universe has sent this stone to you in this reading. That may be why you felt attracted and drawn to this mineral. But let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what Spirit wants you to know. Okay, so group number 1, in your reading we have the whale spirit, we have the beaver spirit, we have the ruby, we have the calcite, we have the Chrysocolla, as already mentioned, we have the peridot, the jade, the dolphin spirit, as well as the porcupine spirit. So group number 1, I want to get straight into your reading. So one of the things that Spirit wants you to know, one of the things that Spirit wants you to freely sort of indulge in, is the fact that life is a mystery. That is something that we have in the whale spirit. Life has so much depth to it. Life has so many things that are still unexplained that even, science can't really explain, and you have to just be okay with that. You have to learn to go with the flow and to be cool with, the ride and the fact that there is still a lot of unknown out there. So group number 1, Spirit definitely wants to communicate to you that you can just trust in the mystery, that when you have good karmic energy, as well as the fact that your intention is good and you're trying to attract positivity with positivity, that is when good comes to you. And even when you're going through difficult phases, even if you're going through a phase where you sort of feel like, communication may be blocked or you feel sort of misunderstood, allow yourself to know that things will in the end always work out for you. So don't be fearful, and definitely focus on laying a solid foundation, group number 1. That is what I see in the beaver spirit. Allow yourself to truly work on the things that you know will benefit you for a very long time. So if you're, for instance, in the midst of your studies, or there's a certain job that you're doing that you know that you need to do in order to lay this foundation, or in order to get this sort of credit, or this sort of like line on your CV, on your resume, that will make you more credible, that will give you that solid foundation for your future and will probably make things easier, then do so. I mean, even if you do want to become an entrepreneur at the end of the day, even if you do want to be your own boss or create financial freedom, or just, freedom of time, however it is that you desire, it may still be helpful to have some form of education that you can fall back on in case you do need to go out and get a regular job, even if that is not your end goal. But obviously, that is just an example, you may have a totally different idea for yourself. You may want to go into a profession in the medical field, and then it is very clear that obviously you need that education. And in the Peridot, I want you to know that a willingness to learn is what Spirit sees in you. A willingness to learn, and one thing that you need, as I can see in the calcite, I want you to bring a little bit more calmness to the table. I want you to know that learning is a lot easier when you just remain calm, content with yourself, and when you're not stressing, when you're not trying to do things as quickly as possible, or when you're not sort of pressuring yourself to succeed. So that is one thing that I feel like you may need to hear. Just in the ruby, there is a lot of like passionate energy in your reading. There is energy that shows that you're devoted, you want to get to where you want to go, and you're very passionate about your dreams and your aspirations, which is great, group number one. Never lose that. All you need to do is learn to channel that passion in a way that it doesn't actually end up destructing. So what do I mean by that? You know how sometimes you're so passionate about, say, a person or a thing that you jump into it with both feet, that you're so excited to get things rolling that you end up moving way too quickly, and then maybe things fizzle out. Maybe there was further information that you needed to gather and collect, and that in the end, you know, all that passion could have been used to actually properly prepare. So that is one thing that I see for you, group number one. The passion is something that nobody can replace, but what you can do is try to be more calm, try to make sure that you get all of the information that you need, and that you take things slowly and steadily, especially if there are other people involved and other factors, because they might not understand how passionate you are or why you're so passionate, and it may sort of scare them a little bit, intimidate them, if you will. In the dolphin spirit, one thing that I want to say to you, one thing that Spirit wants you to know is that, you know, both things can work together. So as I said, you're really passionate about what it is that you want in life, which is great. You can be passionate, and at the same time you can be calm mentally. You can have a calm spirit, you can have a calm outlook, and do things in a way where you can truly think things through and get to a point where you know for sure that your decision wasn't made in a hasty way. It wasn't made in a very impulsive manner. And that is what I want you to take from the dolphin spirit. You can be passionate, but you don't have to be impulsive. That passion can be channeled in order to truly make those decisions in life in the best possible way. So in the porcupine spirit and as in the jade, I want you to know that what will bring luck into your life, what will bring good fortune, is to channel your beginner mind. So the jade is a lucky stone. It has been for a very long time, especially in Eastern culture. It is a stone where people still believe in that meaning. So I want you to know that in correlation to the porcupine spirit, just having that beginner mind, having that mindset where you're not judging, where you don't have a preconceived notion, where you don't think to yourself, if I want to get from point A to B, or if I want to meet the love of my life, this is how I need to look, this is what I need to do, this is how I need to walk and talk. Have that mindset of just allowing things to happen, of knowing that you can build your own route and go down your own path, and you don't necessarily need to conform to what has been the norm up until now. So know that that will put a lot of good energy and good luck into your life, because you will be confident, you will do things the way you see as right. And that beginner mind, that mind of just, you know, being willing to learn and being willing to throw your hands up in the air and say, hey, I'm just gonna take it as it comes, and I'm not going to go into any situations with already like my mind made up about a certain scenario. That is what will allow you to actually be successful. That is what will allow you to create new and innovative scenarios in your life, as well as help with your business, with whatever your goals, dreams, and aspirations are made up of. So have that beginner mind and just let things flow. So group number one, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group number two. So you chose the Apophyllite. So group number two, I want to get into the reading first and foremost with speaking to you about why you may have chosen this stone, aside from the fact that you may have just loved its physical appearance. So the Apophyllite is known to transfer vibrations and to help with any sort of energetic imbalances. So if that is something that you feel like you're struggling with, or just the fact that you feel like there are mental blocks and negative thought patterns that could be released, but you're not quite sure how to, that may be why you tune into this reading and why this stone resonated with you. But let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what your spirits have to say to you, especially in correlation to letting go of any sort of negative energies and mental blockages. Okay, so group number 2, in your reading, we have the fox spirit, we have the parrot spirit, we have the rutilated quartz, we have the larimar, we have the apophyllite, we have the carnelian, the oakenite, the cat spirit, as well as the canary spirit. So one thing that I see that your spirits want you to know is that you have to reclaim your independence, because that will help you have more self-confidence and release any sort of negative patterns or blockages that may be lingering within you. So in the cat spirit, the cat is known to be a very independent animal. If you own a cat or have owned a cat, or actually, if you just come in contact with a cat ever, which is 99% of the population, you know that a cat wants to do what it wants to do when it wants to do it. It does not let anybody tell it how to live, what to think. The cat basically feels like it is the ruler of us, if you know what I mean. So that is the kind of energy that spirit wants you to channel, where you feel like you're the ruler of your life, obviously not of other people. That is not what I mean. But the ruler of your life, where you're independent and you do what you want when you want to do it. So one thing that I feel like may be affecting you is just the fact that maybe your confidence isn't where it could be or should be, and it could have been knocked for quite a few different reasons. One thing that I see is that maybe you've been sort of ridiculed or bullied because of just being yourself, because you were open about the things that you liked, that you were passionate about, the things that you loved, or you just expressed yourself in a very different way. And that is one thing that I see that may have knocked your confidence, people making fun of you for that or not accepting you for that reason. But obviously there are past life patterns here, as I can see in the oakenite, and those need to be healed. Past life patterns, if we bring those into our current life and we do not deal with them and we do not make sure that we sort of cleanse any of that negative energy out and those mental blockages, if we don't get rid of negative thought patterns that may have been transferred onto this life from past lives, then it would just continue to fester, to haunt us, and to continue to negatively impact our lives, because your words shape your reality. Group number 2, I want you to know that that is not hocus pocus, that is actually true. If you have negative thoughts about yourself and about your life, you will never end up having a positive life. So keep that in mind. I know it sounds really easy and simple, but sometimes you need to hear these simple things in order to remind yourself, like, yes, I must do that. And what I see in the parrot spirit is that you have to watch your words. Do not, and I repeat, do not say negative things to yourself. Do not repeat any sort of gossip. Don't repeat anything that isn't positive about you or anybody else, because that will just ruin your home base. That is what I see in the rutilated quartz. Spirit wants you to know that you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your home base, which is your mental space, your head, and obviously, your physical home. So only let people into your physical home that respect you, that respect your energy and love you for who you are, not people who will go and turn around and ridicule you for being who you are. So that is what I was talking about in the canary spirit, letting people have the privilege of getting to know you, who in the end might turn around and backstab you or talk badly about you, even though all you were doing was opening your heart and just being transparent with who you are. That is something that spirit wants you to watch out for. In the fox spirit, I can see that you have to be very alert and very aware of those situations and think on your feet about it and be able to sort of change your approach. So if you feel like in your heart, if you feel intuitively when you meet somebody like they may be of that category, it's always better for you to be a little more careful, a little bit more reliant on your intuition and your instinct, rather than to just think to yourself, oh, I'm just going to believe in the goodness of other people, which obviously I do want you to do. But when it comes to sharing your secrets, when it comes to sharing things that are close to your heart, sharing parts of yourself that are sacred and that are only for those who won't make fun of you or won't think lesser of you for being yourself, keep that to the people who you can trust and who have proven themselves. So I'd rather you be a little more careful than too outgoing, because one thing that I see for you, group number 2, that Spirit wants you to know, is that, in the Larimar, we have the throat chakra, and I want you to be very careful with your words. We have that, in the parrot spirit already, that you must watch your words. Be very careful with what you share, the information that you blurt out, that you give other people, especially about yourself, because right now I see that it is time for you to just heal internally yourself and all of the things that may have affected you in the past, with people sort of making fun of you for who you are. That is something that you need to work on right now, and you don't need any further things knocking your confidence. So group number 2, I want you to also connect with the water. That is one thing that the Larimar stands for the water and the ocean. If you can go to a river, a stream, an ocean, a lake, make sure that you spend a little bit of time close to the water and that you soak up all of the energy that water has, all of the good vibes, and sort of like the cleansing effect that it has. So if you don't have a chance to do that, taking a bath with Epsom salts, with essential oils, is a way how you can also cleanse your system and allow yourself to bit by bit build your self-confidence, which I see is an area where your spirits feel like you can continue to grow. So group number 2, that is a reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Hematite. So group number 3, first and foremost, let's speak about why you may have chosen this mineral. So this mineral is said to be a very calming stone that relieves anxiety as well as mental stress. So if you're going through a time where you feel mentally stressed out or anxiety is running high, that may be why you felt drawn to this stone. But you may have also felt a connection to the stone because you so much need mental peace as well as clarity, and you need to be able to sort of like focus on the tasks at hand. So obviously, if your mind is running wild and it's hard for you to focus on any given task, then that may be another reason why you felt drawn to the stone. But let's move further into your reading to figure out exactly what your spirits are trying to communicate with you. Okay, so group number 3, in your reading, we have the Rhino spirit, we have the Ant spirit, we have the Selenite, we have the Unakite, we have the Rose quartz, the Green Aventurine, the Lion spirit, as well as the Armadillo spirit. So one thing that just pops out in your reading is the fact that we have all of these earth creatures. So that makes me feel like maybe you are of an earth sign, or that is just the energy that you're sort of channeling. Either way, one thing that I see that is really, really essential for you is to know that this reading may have a lot to do with things in the earthly realms, and that is what your spirits are trying to communicate with you. This has to do with your health, your finances, your time, everything of this earthly realm. So let's move into your reading. One thing that I see in the Rhino spirit is that your spirit wants you to know that you can overcome any obstacle and that you're strong. And at the same time, what may be helpful would be to collaborate with other people. That is what I see in the Ant spirit. So you know how ants collaborate, they work together. There are tens of thousands of them who all build, one home, who all build one community, and they need to know exactly what job they have. They need to know exactly what they're doing, where they're going, and they need to know how to work with others in order to build and in order to grow. So that is something that Spirit wants you to take on board. That is something that Spirit wants you to do right now. As I can see in the Unakite, aside from the fact that you need to learn to not try and do too much by yourself, or not try and just do everything yourself. One thing that you also need to do is to live in the moment and know that obstacles are often obstacles that we picture in the future that maybe don't even exist yet. So think to yourself, all the obstacles that you have in your head about your future, about how you're going to do life, are they real, or are they just obstacles that you basically fear may happen? Are they already existing obstacles, or are they obstacles that you've just put in your head? So that is one thing that I want you to truly think about, group number 3. That is one thing that Spirit wants you to think about. Know that when you sort of fill your mind with all of these obstacles that maybe don't even exist yet, that is when you limit yourself. That is when you create blockages. And I want you to set healthy boundaries between these fears and imaginary obstacles and what is reality. So as I said in the Unakite, you have to be mindful, you have to be here in this very moment. And in the Armadillo spirit, there is this facet where you have to draw the line between what is a fear and what is real. What is an obstacle that you picture happening if X, Y, and Z happens, and what is an obstacle that is actually right here in front of you? And oftentimes you can find that the only obstacle in your way is you, and the fact that you have to allow your mental space to be clear, to be clean, to be peace. That is one thing that I see in the selenite, and the selenite is a stone that corresponds to the crown chakra that you can use to cleanse other stones. So the selenite is a very powerful stone, and it is a stone that represents peace. And there's a reason why Spirit has sent this stone into your reading group number 3, and it wants you to be at peace with yourself mentally, and to know that you don't have to let any fears create an uproar for you. You don't have to let any fears create uneasy feelings, because that will just come in the way of new opportunities. And group number 3, what I see in the green aventurine as well as the rose quartz is new opportunity when it comes to relationships. So especially in the love and romantic realms, there are new opportunities arising for you shortly, and I want you to be ready for them, and I want you to set boundaries between fears, reality, and to be here in this moment. It is so important for you to be mindful, because when you're not mindful, you can often miss out on love. So love can be completely new love. It can be somebody who you have never met before. But love can be also, renewed love with somebody who is already an existing part of your life, where there are tons of new opportunities on how you can grow and strengthen your relationship and just bring it to that next level and next spot. So if you're hoping to, for instance, get engaged, get married, to just take your relationship to that next level, that is an opportunity that I see here for you, group number 3. But it is so essential for you to be at peace with yourself and to set healthy boundaries between yourself as well as fear. So in the lion spirit, last but not least, I want you to be very generous. Spirit wants you to give a lot of yourself, give a lot of love, give a lot of attention to those who you feel closest to, and also, give your time, allow time to collaborate, because sometimes we can feel like we don't have time to meet up with people, or we don't have time to go for dinner or discuss plans, etc. But what you need to do is you have to make time, and that is one thing in correlation to the fact that, your reading is based on a lot of things in the earthly realms. One thing that I want you to keep in mind, be very generous with the things that you have in the earthly realm. So be generous with your time. Be generous if somebody needs help financially who is close to you. Okay, I'm not talking just anybody, because that would be a very dangerous situation. I mean, those who will cherish your help and will be able to, if they need to, give you what you gave them back. So be very generous in the earthly realms. Be very generous with helping, and reach out. Extend the olive branch. Make time for the people who may need a little more attention right now. So group number 3, that is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Aragonite. So group number 4, I want to get straight into your reading, speaking about the Aragonite and why you may have chosen it, aside from the fact that it looks really cool. I mean, hello. So you may have chosen the Aragonite because you are a student, or you have a lot of learning, focusing, and concentrating to do. So the Aragonite is known to help with all of those things, as well as reduce any feelings of anger and make your sort of patience streak a little stronger. So if you feel like you've been flying off the handle recently really quickly, or you feel like you just don't have the patience for literally anything or anyone, that may be why you chose this stone and why you felt drawn to it. But let's move further into your reading to figure out what Spirit has to say to you. Okay, so group number 4 in your reading, we have the dragonfly spirit, we have the badger spirit, we have the malachite, we have the fuchsite, we have the cerussite, we have the obsidian, we have the buffalo spirit, as well as the dog spirit. I want to get straight into your reading about the messages that Spirit has for you. So one thing that I see is that you have to travel. One thing that Spirit wants you to do is to travel and allow yourself to be healed through travel. So in the cerussite, that is one thing that I want to point out to you, as well as in the fuck side. So travel can often change us for the better. Travel is something that can teach us a lot about other people, other people's communities, as well as, you know, other people's lifestyles. So if you have not left home or the country, or just basically wherever it is that you've been living, that you've been for a long time, that maybe you need to go out to have this eye-opening experience, as it may help with anger as well as patience, and it will just give you this newfound appreciation for your life. Because if you're able to watch this video, then you're most likely a very fortunate person. You have internet, you have, you know, one of these screens where you can access this sort of information and content. So I want you to know that you have to protect that aspect of your life, and you have to be appreciative of it. So what do I mean exactly with protected? I mean, you have to protect the fact that you are living this fortunate life and not allow negative thoughts or any sort of anger to overwhelm you and to make you completely forget about how fortunate that you really are. Because fact is, most of the world is struggling with feeding themselves. Most of the world struggles to keep shelter. Most of the world does not have first world problems. And if you're a part of those people who are able to, you know, sit back for a little portion of their day, be on social media, be concerned with things that are not necessarily huge issues, then you are actually very fortunate. And I want you to heal yourself. I want you to know that it is okay to sometimes be upset about first world problems. And that is something that you don't hear very often. Oftentimes people just say, oh, get over it, it's a first world problem. But I think you should have a bit more of a loving approach towards it. You need to have the approach of, well, this is the world that you live in. So obviously your problems are a lot different than other people's problems, but that doesn't make them invalid. That just means that you just live in a completely different space. But at the same time, you should always have that deep appreciation for the fact that your issues could be different. And that is why travel is important, and that is why travel has showed up in your reading. So if you don't have time or the financial means right now to travel the world or go see a different culture, I want you to inform yourself about the rest of the world. I want you to enlighten yourself as to, you know, what other issues are going on in this world that you thankfully don't need to deal with, just to show you how fortunate you are and how much healing that you can truly do on yourself willingly, without having anything stopping you, without having to worry about where you're going to sleep tomorrow night or how you're going to feed yourself. So moving further into your reading, one thing that I see is that, you know, the truth will always transcend any illusion. So if there's something in your life, group number 4, that you're not sure about, where you feel like maybe you're being lied to, maybe you don't know the full truth, or maybe there's a little more mystery there, I want you to know that the truth will come out. That is something that Spirit wants you to know. That is something that Spirit is trying to communicate with you. And what you need to know is the fact that in the Buffalo Spirit, the universe will provide you with those answers, okay? The universe is abundant. The universe has enough love and positivity as well as truth to go around for everyone, and the universe will reveal truth when truth is meant to be revealed. But in the Obsidian, I also want you to know that sometimes your spirits are protecting you. Sometimes they're trying to make sure that certain information does not get revealed to you until you are ready. So that could mean that you need to build up your confidence a little more, or you need to be in a better headspace before actually knowing this information will be something that you can handle. So try and get out there into the nature, as I can see in the Malachite, that is something that will allow you to ground yourself, that will allow you to heal any emotional wounds and be grateful for where you are, and will allow you to be confident and to know that you deserve to be here. And that is one thing that I see in the Badger Spirit. The Badger Spirit also correlates to the number 4, which is a very grounded number. Again, going out into the nature can ground you, and being fearless and bold is something that Spirit wants you to be doing. Spirit wants you to do things that are fearless. Spirit wants you to be bold and to know that you have just as much of a right of being here on this earth and being successful as the next person. Because sometimes we can forget that. Sometimes we can sort of feel like we're not meant to be here, or we don't have a place in this world. And it's so essential for you to know that you have just as much of a right to be here and to be yourself as anybody else. So So last but not least, in the dog spirit, your spirits want you to be loyal to what you love and to be devoted to whatever it is that you love. So you know how devoted and loyal and loving dogs are in any situation. I want you to use that same energy for the things and the people that you love. So if you, for instance, love entrepreneurship, or you love, for instance, social media, and sometimes you get to a point where an entrepreneurial venture isn't looking good, or social media sort of makes you feel down and out sometimes. But if it's something that you truly love, be loyal to it and don't check out as soon as something doesn't work out. Because when things don't work out and when we hit sort of like these walls, when we hit these obstacles, there is often greatness right behind that wall. There is often greatness waiting for us just on the other side. And basically life is just testing us, trying to find out how badly we want these things and how much we love these things. So this can also be applied to the people in your life. So be very loyal to whoever it is that you love, to whoever it is that you know is just as loyal to you, whether you're going through good times or bad times. So especially in bad times, try to have that loving nature, try to do things in the nature with them, try to take them out so you can both ground yourselves, so you can both get back onto a sort of like green patch, if you will, and continue to grow together instead of having this distance as soon as things are not that great. So group number 3, that is a reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and I hope that you found it insightful, and I will see you in my next reading.